What's going on, guys? It's Steve. I have to make this video. What's going on right now is absolutely ridiculous. Everyone, literally every single person is blaming Carmelo Anthony for what's going on in New York City. They blamed him for the last 3 years. But if you look at his track record, he hasn't missed the playoffs. He went 10 years in a row until he came to New York and they decided to rebuild. But that's besides the point. Coach Hornacek got a little salty the other day. Well, literally, it was yesterday. He called a play out. People misunderstood what happened. People misunderstood exactly what happened. I saw the replay a million times. I saw it live against the Magic last night. This is what happened. Carmelo Anthony, I think it was Brandon Jennings that was at the top of the key, literally right next to Melo, bringing his man towards Melo. Why would you bring someone towards your best scorer? That doesn't make sense. So he's telling, I think it was either Brandon Jennings or Derrick Rose, whoever the hell it was. He was telling them to get out. Like, get out, get away from me, to clear out. And then he was like, come on, Kylo Quinn, come set the screen. But most people take it as he's telling everyone to clear out, and he's ignoring the play that Coach Hornacek called up. But that's not what happened. That is not even close to what happened. He was yelling at Kylo Quinn to come set the screen, but when he didn't, it's not his fault. How is that Melo's fault that he didn't set the screen? So Melo had to get low and isolate. Melo had to get low, isolate, and he had to throw up a shot. And Coach Hornacek, he got upset. He turned around, and sucked his teeth. Like, who the hell are you? Every single game, I have problems with Hornacek. Every single game. His rotations are some of the worst rotations I've ever seen in my life. Literally the first game of the season versus Cleveland, what did I say? I've never seen something so terrible in terms of coaching. The second game, exactly the same thing. It's every single damn game. It's how bad his rotations are. They make no sense whatsoever. Why the hell is Carmelo Anthony playing almost the entire first half, but he's getting benched until the 6-minute mark in the fourth quarter? How does that make sense to have your best player play in the entire first half, almost the entire first half, but bench him until the 6-minute mark in the fourth quarter? The other night, I think it was, what's his name? Kuzminskis. I think he had like 12 or 13 points in the third quarter, and he got benched in the fourth quarter, obviously for defensive reasons. But are you kidding me? Are you serious right now? That was against the Houston Rockets. And his logic makes no sense. He takes people out when we're on runs. He'll wait until the team is on a huge run, and he sees the run coming. If you understand basketball, you see when a run is coming. You can see the momentum changing. So most coaches, before the momentum completely switches, they call a timeout and they bring in their best players. But what does he do? He allows the other team to get fully developed in their run, get a bigger lead, and then 2 minutes go by. Now he wants to put in Kristaps Porzingis. Now he wants to put in Carmelo Anthony. Are you kidding me? His rotations are some of the worst I've ever seen in my life. And I've said since day one, I've said this, I literally made back to back to back. I think I made 3 or 4 videos in 1 week talking about how bad his coaching was. Because it's ridiculous how bad his rotations are. It's ridiculous. And the fact that Carmelo Anthony is getting blamed is ridiculous. Every single person is blaming Carmelo Anthony. The last 2 seasons when he didn't play, the New York Knicks are 0-13. 0-13 without him. And you're going to sit there and tell me that that's Carmelo Anthony's fault? Let me teach you guys something really quickly. Carmelo Anthony, LeBron James are the only 2 players right now that are still sort of in their prime from the 2003 draft. Chris Bosh is arguable, but he can't play because of the blood clots. D-Wade's obviously out of his prime. But LeBron and Melo are still in their prime. What's the difference? The difference is LeBron James is just way better than Melo. That's the difference. It is. And people still hold Melo to the same standard as they hold LeBron. And I say this every single time. You cannot hold any single player to LeBron's standards. It's not possible. LeBron James, while playing, keep in mind, he's actually playing more minutes than he has for I think the last 4 seasons. He's playing like 37 minutes per game. He's playing more minutes than he did for the last 3 to 4 seasons. And he is coasting, though. He is coasting. You can see he's not as aggressive. But he's still averaging 25. But the reason for that is because LeBron James was always a high percentage shooter. And Carmelo Anthony wasn't. Part of that is because LeBron obviously drives to the basket more and Melo takes harder shots. But that's not the excuse. The excuse is they're totally different players. So that's why when you see Carmelo coasting through the regular season, it looks like he's declining. I mean, 22, 6, and 3 is what he's averaging right now for this season. That's him coasting. And he's shooting 42%. He's never been a high percentage shooter. His highest percentage ever was 49% in 2007, 2008. His average for his career is 45% from the field. So when you see Carmelo Anthony averaging 22, 6, and 3, you're not looking at the big picture. You can see he's passing more. He's not as aggressive on the offensive end or the defensive end, just like LeBron is. The only difference is that LeBron impacts the game on every single level, whereas Carmelo was always primarily a scorer. So it looks like he's declining rapidly, but he's actually not. He's just coasting, just like LeBron James is. It just looks worse because Carmelo specializes in scoring. That's what made him a superstar, whereas LeBron, he can score, rebound, and pass, and play D. He can do everything. And the same thing would be said for Kevin Durant. If Kevin Durant were coasting through the regular season and averaging 22, people would be like, he's declining. But it's not that. Because these players specialize in scoring. Notice, they said the same thing about Michael Jordan when his scoring started to dip down a little bit. They said the same thing about Kobe. The difference between Melo and LeBron, they're both coasting. The difference is LeBron has a better team, 1. 2, LeBron James impacts the game on every single level. So his coasting doesn't look as bad as Carmelo's does because we know Melo for scoring. So when you see a dip in his scoring, by the way, he's only averaging 2 less points per game. And he's literally playing a career low of 33 minutes per game. A career low. And he's only averaging 3 less points per game than his career average. Remember that. And he's shooting less free throws because, again, he's not being as aggressive on the offensive end. So when you put all that together, I'm sorry, but it's not Carmelo Anthony's fault. You want to know whose fault it is? Look at the coach. I've never seen coaching and rotations so horrible in my entire life. The reason why I stopped making these videos about talking and complaining about Coach Hornacek is because you guys said, Steve, give it time. Well, I gave it 2-3 months, and now we're below 500. He needs to be fired, man. It's not Melo. Stop blaming Carmelo for everything. They did the same thing with Patrick Ewing. When they start to lose, this is what Allen Iverson said. He literally said this in an interview with Stephen A. Smith. He said, LeBron, Melo, Wade, Kobe, all the young, no, not Kobe. I think he said LeBron, Melo, Wade. I think he said someone else. All the younger guys. They love you now. But once you make one mistake or you start losing, they're going to come for you. That's the truest thing ever. People loved Melo 3 years ago. Now, he's the most overrated player ever. I don't get it. How is 25, 6, and 3 overrated? I don't understand. For a career, 25, 6, and 3. How is that overrated? He's known as a scorer. So his coasting and slowing down in the regular season to preserve his body looks worse because that's what he does, is score. So when you see a dip in points per game, people are going to say, he sucks now. He's playing a career low of 33 minutes per game. It's not Melo's fault. Blame the coach. This is the one time I actually say blame the coach because his rotations are awful. Disgusting. And I can't take it anymore, man. It's a disgrace. It's truly sad to see people blaming Melo. I mean, Fox Sports is coming out with articles. The New York Knicks are better without Carmelo Anthony. The New York Post is saying Knicks fix of pathetic defense must start with Carmelo Anthony, which I do agree with. I agree with that to some extent because Melo, off-ball defense, he's terrible. On ball, in the low post, and anywhere near the post or the paint, he's good. But on the perimeter, terrible. Also, off-ball, he sucks. But besides that, his defense is alright, especially in the low post because of his strength. And then people saying Coach Hornacek turns away. That wasn't Melo's fault. He told Brandon Jennings to clear out. And Kyle O'Quinn didn't know what play was being ran, and Melo's like, come on, come on. He's literally yelling and getting frustrated. You can see it in his face. He's getting frustrated. Like, come on, come on, come on. You know, and what happened? He didn't come set the screen. The shot clock, I think it was like 5 seconds left. So what had to happen? Melo had to get low and isolate. He missed a shot. It happens. But for people to sit there and say he just ignored Coach Hornacek, are you serious? Are you serious? That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life. They need to stop blaming people. They need to stop blaming Melo. It's not him. It's the coaching. His rotations are awful. Terrible coach. Get him out of here, man. I'm done. He needs to be fired right now. I'm done. Anyway, guys, they did the same thing to Patrick Ewing, man. I'm out of here, man. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's been Steve. Peace.